Hello and welcome to the History of Hypnosis. My name is Gavin Smith. Now, one of the main reasons for doing this recording is to share with you the knowledge I have and hopefully to give you a better understanding that surrounds the minefield of hypnosis, hypnotherapy, meditation, mindfulness and any other therapeutic practice that can help people on a mental level. You see, the point is, there are so many different types of therapy out there. And if a client has a mental disorder, maybe depression, anxiety, stress, or anything else, it can be hard to find the right therapy. And sometimes this can lead to a complete judgment of the one therapy they might have tried. So with this information, you will have more knowledge about hypnosis in general. Now you see, hypnosis has been part of the human makeup since time began. Everybody is able to go into a trance-like state. We do this many times a day when our minds just drift and wander. Now, the practice of going into that state has been well documented through ancient tribes in South America who used to use mind-altering techniques to pray to their gods. And in ancient India, the Hindu religion had a common practice of taking their sick to the temple of sleep to meditate and become self-absorbed into a state that would relate closer to their spirit, to their God. And this wasn't just isolated to India. In the late 3rd century in ancient Egypt, they too had a tradition called temple sleep, and they would also take their sick to a temple, and together with their prayers and ingestion of some herbal medicines, they were left to sleep and wait for a dream or some sort of sign from their gods to bring them new knowledge, answer their questions, or cure their ailments. Now in 1707, a doctor who lived in Vienna in Austria, Dr. Franz Anton Mesmer, was one of the first pioneers to study consciousness and developed what he called animal magnetism. He would use magnets with his clients to follow what he called the energy lines in the body. And it was because of him that we have our modern understanding of hypnosis. No doubt you have heard of the word mesmerised. This term comes from the surname of Dr. Mesmer. But after scientists of the day proved some of his practices false, many practitioners of mesmerism continued secretly to practice his methods and expand their knowledge into the 19th century. Now in 1829, a French doctor, Dr. Jules Cuquet, became the first recorded surgeon to use mesmerism as an anaesthetic. But due to the mistrust by the general public in mesmerism, any results were kept away from public scrutiny. So without public scrutiny, the mystique of mesmerism grew. But practitioners soon gained credibility from doctors, surgeons and scientists. And one of those practitioners was a Scottish surgeon, and in 1841 published a book moving his findings away from mesmerism, adopting the term hypnosis or hypnotism, and concluded that he considered it a speedy mode of throwing the nervous system into a new condition, a new conscious state in which can be regarded imminently available to cure certain disorders. His experiments and scientific approach quickly made him a respected leading figure in the world of hypnosis. And through him, hypnosis became a credible working tool in the medical world. Now, because of the influence of Dr. Braid in the medical use of hypnosis, scientists all over Europe continued to develop hypnosis to help in their practice and with their patients. After the death of Dr. Braid, in France in particular, there were two schools of thought regarding hypnosis. One of the founder members of the Nancy School of Hypnosis in France, Ambroise Leopold, believed that mental suggestion and repetitive suggestion, along with therapeutic suggestion, was the way to take hypnosis. While his working partner, Hippolyte Bernheim, believed that fabricating memories, replacing memories, or using false events, along with false suggestion, was the right way to take hypnosis. But both continued to use suggestion as a tool to help their clients. But Jean-Martin Charcot, from the Salpêtrière School in Paris, a highly decorated neurosurgeon, believed that hypnosis was a state of hysteria during a patient's outburst. So therefore, only people suffering from hysteria can actually enter a state of hypnosis. He maintained hypnosis was a symptom of hysteria, a mental state that should never be induced due to its disabling effects on the mind. However, Charcot did use hypnosis on his patients because he also believed that hypnosis against the symptoms of hysteria was the key to unlocking disorder. Now, the rivalry between these two schools went on for decades, and although both tried to discredit each other's findings, it also helped for its students to advance hypnosis. One of these students was a German man, Sigmund Freud, who initially started to study neurology, but went on to be one of the world's most famous psychologists. Around 1885, Freud would use hypnosis in his private clinic to induce clients, preferring to use the more dominant authoritarian technique of hypnosis. However, he later rejected hypnosis as it didn't do away with the client's personal resistance. It is believed, due to Freud's rejection in hypnosis, why it is not taught along with psychology in most universities. Even though Freud believed hypnosis to be limited. In 1892, the British Medical Association recognised it, and the general public started to accept hypnosis as a medical practice. Also around this time, a French pharmacist, Émile Coué, became interested in hypnosis and would offer sessions along with the medicines that he prescribed. During his time, Coué discovered the power of placebo and would praise up the medication that he prescribed along with the daily instruction on dosage. He would encourage his patients to believe in the power of the medication, along with that daily reminder of the benefits of taking it several times a day. He also went on to discover the power of self-hypnosis, or as he would call it, autosuggestion. His self-improvement affirmation, "Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better," is still widely used today by counsellors, self-help authors and hypnotherapists. In his first book, he explained that autosuggestion is an element that is with us from the time we are born and plays an unconscious part in all our lives. However, he went on to say, it is a dangerous element that can wound or even kill you if it is handled imprudently or unconsciously. But it can also protect you and save your life if you know how to employ it consciously. As interest continued to grow in the field of hypnosis and other mental states, research leaned towards other cultures in the world that might have used something similar. Medicine doctors and shamans from all around the world were studied to see how their cultures entered into a different mental state. Some of these were practiced in dance, music, and mantras. One of these foreign cultures practiced was yoga, where practitioners are guided into a trance state of breathing and moving. During this time, hypnosis expanded in many different directions, and for most people in the early part of the last century, their first experience of hypnosis would have probably been a stage hypnotist. And perhaps again you can remember the word mesmerised, a term used a lot by stage hypnotists. Now, purely for entertainment value, stage hypnotists would seek out willing volunteers to come onto stage and act out a different role that possibly they might not perform in their normal everyday state. And for most people, the benefits of hypnosis are hindered by this belief that all hypnosis is stage hypnosis, when in actual fact, stage hypnosis and clinical hypnosis are as different as chalk and cheese. Both types of hypnosis are voluntary, but where clinical hypnosis can produce long-term changes for a client, with stage hypnosis, those changes in a volunteer's actions are short-term and temporary, generally only lasting as long as the show. To bring hypnosis into the 20th century, Milton Erickson brought clinical hypnosis back into the limelight of psychotherapy. Erickson's view on the subconscious mind was directly different to that of Freud's, whose ideas dominated and limited hypnosis during his lifetime. Erickson's description of the mind was that the unconscious mind was made up of all your learnings over a lifetime, many of which are forgotten, but will serve you on an automatic basis. It was Erickson's perspective that hypnosis provided a tool in which to communicate with the subconscious mind and access the resources held deep within the mind of a client. He believed that hypnosis can induce a trance-like state into the unconscious mind, where all the possibilities can be solved on an unconscious level that affect the conscious world for a client. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the term deep trance. Erickson pioneered the research into this unique conscious state. He would spend many hours at a time with an individual subject, deep in trance. His work on deep trance is detailed in his 1952 paper, in which he provides history, justification, and the ideas about its use. Trance state, for therapeutic reasons, can be either light or deep, depending on such factors as the personality of the client, the nature of the problem, and the stage of the therapy. Erickson passed away in 1980 at the age of 78, but his legacy has helped hypnosis to take on new levels of development. To this day, there are now many universities and students expanding their field in hypnosis and altered states of consciousness. It is becoming widely believed as we enter the 21st century that our thoughts produce the makings of our life. Our genetic makeup can be changed considerably by what we believe to be true. Now, as our knowledge of physics, biology, molecular science grows, the more we will see that the choices can be made deep within our subconscious mind. There are now over 500 types of psychotherapy and numerous types of other therapies. So it is important to understand, although the names are the same or similar, the practices and teachings are very different. Research a therapy before committing to one, but even if that one doesn't suit you, look around, continue to find a therapist that can help you. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed listening.